Hi, I'm Rick.
Hi, I'm Gilliam.
Gilliam, we're back here for part 3 on Angular Schematics.
Yes.
So we're going to optimize today?
Yes, we're going to upgrade.
We're going to upgrade.
Upgrade.
Well, tell us all about it.
Well, when we're developing Angular libraries, so packages, think Angular Material, NgRx, NG-bootstrap, Clarity, how you want to make sure your library, your package is going to be successful.
Yeah.
You want to make life easy for your consumers. You're going to have troubles with breaking changes or adding my library, and you have to add a lot of boilerplate to make my library work in your application. Schematics are a great tool to avoid these struggles for your consumers. So Angular Material uses those, and when you use ng-add, we have a schematic called add, ng-add, and we have update. You should think about the schematic called ng-update. And if your library has specific schematics, there are that should really be used for your components. Yep. So let's say you have a lightweight client or a full-weight client with 3-layer navigation. You could make a schematic specifically for your library, generate layout, or full client layout or something like that. And it's gonna add a page, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna focus on ng-add and ng-update for today, because I think those are the most beneficial for a successful user experience for your consuming developers.
Okay, cool.
And I want to mention some the libraries. So I'm going to show on my screen Angular Material. And for you guys, if you use Angular Material, you're going to see this ng-add. It's already part 1, how to add my library ng-add. Because ng-add is going to be responsible for installing packages. Maybe some CSS, maybe some other dependencies, or Angular CDK if you want to get really fancy with complex components.
Yep.
So then you're gonna see when you read add, it's a schematic.
So probably you can go into that schematic for CDK and look at what they did on GitHub.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I would advise you to do, if you want to build a ng-add schematic, just go to the source code of Material or Clarity guys, or the CDK or NG-bootstrap. Those are teams that are committed to making these schematics, so they will have some good quality schematics for you.
Yeah, you would think so.
At least a better one than I will make from scratch.
It's up there, but
yeah, but it's the amount of minds that have thought about this schematic.
Yeah, and of course also just the amount of time that you can spend on making it run, right? And
correct.
I think it also depends on the audience, since they target hundreds of thousands, maybe even more users.
Yes.
You just a little bit less, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't have this. We're counting maximum 100 users, maybe some, but not 100,000.
And then providing support is also relatively simpler than for a big team like NG-bootstrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in combination with this ng-update, you should really be mindful of this package versioning. I have prepared a Betabitter's packages workspace, and I have added a core package. So the Betabitter's core package is Angular package, and this version will be important in combination with ng-update, because you want to make sure is it a patch, is it a breaking change. So a way back with Angular 8, I think it's 8. The view children has a property static.
Yeah.
If it should bind to the template on a static way one time on the ng on it, live hook. But they had a breaking change. So this parameter, this static keyword, wasn't needed anymore. So they have made an NG-update schematic to look through the solutions and remove this keyword. And then you're gonna avoid a lot of tedious tasks for your consuming developers. So the NG-update is a powerful tool to really make a fine, pretty user experience for your consumers.
Okay.
And I believe that's gonna give you success in your library. Angular CLI, they have a API, and you should add ng-add keyword, ng-update keyword in your package.json. This keyword will tell the Angular CLI when I'm saying ng-add, hey, I got a schematic for your add command. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it will just, oh, I'm gonna install your package, but nothing else. It's not gonna execute your ng-add schematic. So these are the things you should do in your package.json. Again, we have our collection, and for your migrations, you have so for your updates, you should have this migration collection. Adding schematics to your library is a bit of work. There isn't a schematic to add schematics to your library.
Okay.
They're only the missing schematic in this world of Angular schematics.
Well, we could build one and open source it, but...
Yes. But I found it funny that for this use case, there is not a schematic. I don't know the reasoning behind it. Maybe there's a good reason, but okay. You should add this file folder schematics, just like a standalone schematic, but by hand. You're gonna add this, you're gonna add this collection JSON, migration JSON, your schematic factory rules, and you're gonna configure your build. I have made a tsconfig schematics JSON because you do not want to interfere with the build of your library. No. You're going to compile the library and compile schematics and add them to your library. Yeah. The second thing, if you read the documentation on Angular specifically for libraries, schematic libraries, they have an example and will tell you step by step a good recipe to add them.
So I think 2 episodes ago we talked about the fact that the documentation isn't quite there yet if you're going into detail, but as far as this goes, the documentation is there and they have an example that you can actually use. Yes. So that's good to know.
Yeah. I've tweaked the copy schematics to be using file system just to make it independent of operating system. That's just a difference between my copy schematic script and the script you will find on the documentation. But other than that, it's going to get you up and running. When we're building a library, let's say build a library, and then I am going to need to look at this package.json and find my build beta talks core run scripts. I'm going to execute 2 things. I'm going to build my library, so compile, and then compile my schematics and move these schematics files to this distribution folder, because the distribution folder is going to get published.
That's the package that you actually send out there.
Yep. Yes. So that's done. And again, I'm gonna use for this demo to be independent of a registry, so you guys can fork this code on my of my GitHub, run npm pack and install it locally, but it's gonna behave like a packaged file. And we can find this file, this package over here. So again, I like to use sandbox applications. It's always a good thing to generate a plain Angular CLI sandbox application, because that's going to be your end-to-end smoke test on your local machine. Yeah. Just to make sure things work.
Yeah, and it enables you to actually validate that it works before breaking your production code.
Exactly. So the difference in this demo will be I'm going to use ng-add and then the Betatox core package file, but in the real world you will add betatox/core, the name of this package. Oh, I have to execute this in my sandbox. I'm not in my Angular.
The cool thing is, this happened earlier, but it happens to me quite often as well. So I think people will probably see this as a relatable stuff. That, oh crap! I need to go into that folder before I can actually run it.
Yeah, I can't avoid this mistake. And it will do my ng-add schematic. It's going to tell you the package is going to get installed. I will say yes.
Okay, so even actually installing the package also runs from the ng-add schematic right here.
Yep.
Cool.
And I have ran a schematic because I have given feedback that I've installed and I've updated my package.json and I've modified your app module. So it's done magic. And if I'm going to look in my app module, it has done...
Ooh, it added the import.
It added an import, exactly. So think about error handling or state management. Some things you want to enforce your consumer to import in root.
Yeah, I can even imagine, for instance, stuff like if you run application insights, and you would like to have that in your front end as well, just add it here and you're done, right?
Yes.
Cool. It's actually pretty powerful.
Yeah. And again, time saving. For me as a user of this Betatox core, quite easy. If I want to update Betatox, I'm going to use ng-update. And ng-update will search for packages that contain a update schematic. But you can also say I want to update a specific file, so Betatox /core. I did not implement this, but I want to show you the update schematics of material, because it's going to say your CLI. Well, while that's running, I'm going to go to this update projects. Oh, well, you should always make sure you're committing your
You need
changes.
to run ng-update always on a clean repository, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But for my demo purpose, it's not necessary to show you. ng-update, they're quite complex. I did not prepare a schematic too. Well, if you're gonna use ng-update Betatox core, it's gonna tell you, ha, joke, I'm not implemented. But I have provided a link for by example material. And this is a example to show you how to manage updates. So they have schematics. And again, schematics are just a function that are returning a rule from how to bump version 6 to 7, version 7 to 8, version 9 to 10.
So probably if anybody uses ng-update to go from Angular version 11 to 12, that's also schematics, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
They're all schematics. And these update schematics are, in my opinion, really powerful to avoid a lot of tedious hassle irritations.
Yeah, and of course it helps eliminate potential user issues where a user mistypes something or forgets to add something or forgets to delete something.
Yep.
So this is actually tested because we saw in last week's or the last episode that you can actually also unit test your schematic. So everything's tested, you know that it runs, you just run the schematic and you're good to go.
Yes, indeed. And one thing I want to mention, I have a use case. Angular gives you Jasmine, Karma to unit test. But there are teams, they prefer to use Jest test runner. So you could make a upgrade schematic or another schematic to completely remove Jasmine and add Jest.
Okay.
And that's another great use case to avoid human mistakes. If you have 20 projects you want to use this migration,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna do it by hand. I will make a few mistakes in those 20 times. It will not be exactly the same 20 times.
No.
But my schematic, if it's got a bug, then it will be
It will
the
be
same
everywhere.
bug. But it will be the same bug.
Yeah.
So it will
Yeah.
be more efficient to fix this bug.
I agree.
So, and with libraries, it's all about user experience. It's all about updating, keeping up to date, adding and avoiding time, a lot of time in your consumer.
And the repetitive tasks, right? So
Yep.
normally as developers we say if we do it once, fine. If we do it twice, if we have to do it 3 times, let's automate it. So as far as this goes, I think it's a very good example of why to automate certain things. And I think over the past 3 episodes we've seen the overview of schematics and what it actually is, building and actually more of a deep dive into schematics, and then here adding schematics into your library to improve the developer experience for anybody who uses your library, right?
Yes,
Cool.
great summary.
Thanks. Thank you for these awesome 3 sessions. If you have any questions or something comes up, please join our Discord, because most of us are on there and you can ask us anything. And if we have all of the time, we will help you find an answer. Of course, like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with new videos. And for now, thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.